Zhuang Fangyi is one of the coolest operators we've seen so far, and after testing her in version 1.2, it's clear she's also one of the strongest. She's an electro hyper carry that focuses almost entirely on her battle/combo skill damage alongside her ultimate form with extremely high multipliers and, like other carries we've seen before, a very powerful ultimate that she's reliant on. With this, in today's video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about Zhuang Fangyi, and as a result, we'll go over how her kit works, her best builds, how to play her best teams, and answer whether she's actually worth pulling for. Spoiler alert, the answer is yes. But if you enjoyed or learned something from today's video, like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Zhuang Fangyi's gameplay revolves around ramping up into her ultimate, entering her enhanced state, and then unloading as many battle skills and combo skills as possible. As a side note, once her ultimate is active, she does also become easier to play thanks to the added interruption and damage resistance that she gains. That said, I do want to highlight that this is another operator similar to Yvonne and Levitain, where her ultimate is not only important for its burst, it's where a majority of her high damage comes from. With this, coordinating and focusing on generating her ultimate as frequently as possible is very important and should be her team's main goal. To understand why Zhuang Fangyi is such a powerful carry though, let's break down each part of her kit. Her basic attacks are not the primary focus of her kit, but they do act as filler and deal decent damage across the entirety of a fight. That said, most of her significant damage comes from her battle skill and ultimate rather than just her basic. On that note, her battle skill is one of the most important parts of her kit. With extremely high multipliers, especially when enhanced by her ultimate, this is what lets Zhuang Fangyi deal an insane amount of damage. Mechanically, this consumes electrification from the enemy to then increase its damage and generate thunder blades, which are then all unleashed in a sequence of thunder strikes that deal damage and generate ultimate energy. However, even if there's no electrification, this can still generate a thunder blade, and as a result, overall, the more electrification that you consume, the stronger the skill becomes, and the more thunder blades that you have. This of course, however, means that the more hits that you have, the more damage that you'll deal. Her combo skill also helps her generate energy and is quite useful, especially considering its condition to trigger and what it does. Mechanically, this triggers when a finisher hits an enemy with electric infliction, creating an array that deals electric damage and consumes these stacks to apply electrification while restoring ultimate energy. If electrification is already applied, this will instead increase its level, further increasing her damage, but in short, it's added damage and not very difficult to trigger, assuming you have someone who can apply electric infliction on demand, and I'm looking at you, Perlica. Finally, her ultimate is what takes Zhuang Fangyi over the top. Once activated, it enhances her skill damage and gives her added interruption resistance. However, in addition to this, it also empowers her basic, battle skill, and combo skills, increasing their damage and adding additional effects for each ability respectively. To add to all of this, however, this also guarantees a Thunderblade generation on her first skill cast without consuming resources, and this is pretty huge in terms of her gameplay loop. Zhuang Fangyi's talents add good value through added electric amp, a chance of immunity against damage that scales with the number of Thunderblades nearby, and a heal at the end of said damage immunity. Skill priority wise, you'll upgrade her battle skill and ultimate first, since these make up a large portion of her damage, but after this you'll invest in her combo skill and basic attacks as they do add damage to her rotations. Now let's move to Zhuang Fangyi's builds. As always, there are a few options available for her, and your choice here depends on your willingness and desire to farm or min-max. Her best in slot choice is the new Zero Flow gear set, which perfectly matches her kit both in stat and passive. This also happens to increase attack and electric damage, which of course is clearly perfect for Zhuang Fangyi. But if you're between factory builds and aren't quite ready to create the new set of armor though, using Eternal Zero Knight in the meantime is fine, especially since most players will need the set for general support usage or may already have them for other reasons, while still being quite synergistic for Zhuang Fangyi's kit. Alternatively to this, just using the correct main stats on gear with decent or usable sets will also work too, but this of course is dependent on the team and boss. With this though, Zhuang Fangyi has the first ideal setup of Zero Flow light armor, Zero Flow gloves, Zero Flow baton, and a second Zero Flow baton to round out the build. Alternatively, baton can be swapped out for Link Slab, especially as the main stats of Link Slab line up perfectly with Zhuang Fangyi's ideal attributes too, but of course if Zero Flow isn't available, you can instead use this in the meantime. Eternal Zero Knight armor, Eternal Zero Knight gloves T1, Eternal Zero Knight auxiliary arm, and a second Eternal Zero Knight auxiliary arm to end the build again. If you're looking for other options to this though, you could also replace Eternal Zero Knight armor with Bone Crusher Poncho T1 for the ultimate gain efficiency. Now though this guide is primarily about Zhuang Fangyi, the new sets recently released are also impactful for her teammates too. To be more specific, the newly added Qingbo set in particular is a strong option now for Perlica, who would now be able to take advantage of the reduced combo skill cooldown and apply electrification more often. As for Zhuang Zhuang Fangyi's weapons, let's address the two most obvious options for her first. Her best performing weapon is her signature, Lone Barge, and this synergizes perfectly with every part of her kit, no surprises here. The Battle Pass weapon, Flickers in the Mist, is also a strong alternative, but this has a gap of about 20% performance-wise at rank 0, with it closing the gap up to 15 to 12% if you reach max rank. If neither of these options are available though, using a budget option like Monaihi just for the will, main attribute, and ultimate gain efficiency is decent, though this should only really be used as a transitional or stepping stone weapon. If you're even more desperate than this though, Fluorescent Rock does also have will and attack bonuses attached to it as well, though neither of these are really recommended long term. Zhuang Fangyi's gameplay conceptually is very similar to other operators who gains great value from their ultimate. Activate her combo skill, use enhanced battle skills when triggerable, and perform final strikes as often as possible until you can then set up a stagger window with her ultimate. Now, as a disclaimer, of course, depending on the team you run, the exact rotation or combo that you use will differ. However, assuming you're using Perlica and pairing her with Zhuang Fangyi, your most used combo will look something like the following. Zhuang Fangyi's full basic attack combo into final strike, activate Perlica's combo skill, likely activate the combo skills of other operators on your team, including Arknight, Alesh, etc. Activate Zhuang Fangyi's enhanced battle skill, or you could full basic attack combo into final strike on an electrified enemy if you don't have enough SP. After this, you'll activate Zhuang Fangyi's combo skill, and you'll repeat this until her ultimate is available or the boss is close to stagger. Once at the stagger window for a boss, or when you're actually looking to unload as much damage as possible, this will change instead to the following. Pre-build Zhuang Fangyi's ultimate to full, do the same with all other supports ultimates, get close to the boss's stagger window if you're fighting a single enemy, and then prior to actually starting your combo, activate the weapon/gear set effects like Thermite, Zeronite, or Frontiers with whatever activation conditional that they have, including combo skills, battle skills, etc. From this point, you'll activate Zhuang Fangyi's ultimate, activate all other supports ultimates, then activate Zhuang Fangyi's enhanced battle skill, full basic attack combo into final strike on an electrified enemy, activate other operators' combo skills when available, activate Zhuang Fangyi's combo skill, and repeat until she leaves this form. As a reminder, during this ultimate window, the goal is to have all team buffs active and continuously spam her enhanced battle skill, repeating this loop over and over to deal massive damage until the ultimate inevitably ends. Now let's move to Zhuang Fangyi's partners and teams, starting with what she's looking for in said partners. With this, she works best with characters that help with energy generation, apply or help with electric infliction/electrification, and provide damage amp in some way, or just add overall damage buffs. As a result, her current best partner that she does feel kind of locked to is Perlica, who meets the electrification needs of her kit perfectly. With this, her most consistent and recommended teams are Zhuang Fangyi, Perlica, Arknight, and Alesh, and this team feels very comfortable to play and has very good skill point management. The other lineup is Zhuang Fangyi, Perlica, Arknight, and Antal, and this is still decently comfortable to play, but may have skill point issues at times at the cost of giving more damage to the team. Other strong variants of this include Zhuang Fangyi, Perlica, Akekuri, and Alesh, and this lineup gives access to strong energy plus damage buffs with Akekuri as opposed to Arknight. But next we have Zhuang Fangyi, Perlica, Akekuri, and Gilberta, with Gilberta variants offering higher burst potential, though this may feel more expensive in terms of SP. Next, we have Zhuang Fangyi, Perlica, Arknight, and Ardelia, and similar to the Gilberta versions, this offers decent buffs and healing, though its SP cost and overall reliance on ultimate is definitely on the higher end. Finally, the last lineup we have is Zhuang Fangyi, Perlica, Arknight, and Aviwenna, and this can be used to avoid long periods of wasted ultimate downtime and would technically be easier to use since this is the default/go-to meta electric team at the moment, and you just have to replace one character for Zhuang Fangyi. Now from this lineup of teams, here are a few important notes to take away. First, Zhuang Fangyi is the main DPS for all of these setups, and this makes sense as she deals a decent amount of damage herself, even with just basics, and she does also need access to her combo skill, which requires her to be on field performing final strikes or finishing hits against enemies with electric infliction on them. Next, though each of these teams has alternatives or substitutes depending on the fight/boss, Perlica and the general structure of Zhuang Fangyi's teams are pretty predetermined, all things considered. This means alongside Perlica in a majority of teams, buffers/enablers as the 3rd/4th slot operators are pretty standard, but the 3rd/4th slot is also pretty replaceable depending on whether you need SP, more damage, healing, etc., and you'll make team changes based on this. Now let's move to Zhuang Fangyi's pros and cons. For pros, she has pretty high skill damage multipliers and consistent damage, she has strong survivability with interruption resistance and damage reduction, and she has a lot of low cost team lineups, so she's pretty accessible for new players. As for her cons though, she only really has one cooldown, and that's really the ramp up time before actually reaching her ultimate. But now let's answer the most important question: should you actually pull for Zhuang Fangyi? Of course, you're free to pull whoever you'd like, but in my opinion, this is one of the easiest recommendations that we've seen so far. She has incredibly high damage output, she has pretty cheap teams, and overall she feels pretty easy to play, especially with all the interruption resistance and damage reduction. On top of all this, even with pretty minimal investment, she can still clear current content with ease, and she also has a clear advantage over previous carries in terms of the content being designed for her, and in terms of even sustained damage. That's everything you need to know about Zhuang Fangyi though, and if you were on the fence about pulling or unsure how to build and play her, hopefully this helped clear things up. As always, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, good night.